planning on stealing something?
No, ma'am, we're not.
Plan on murdering me in my sleep?
What? No.
Where do you get off?
Just a couple of people who totally got off, bro.
Hey, show us your basement.
What? No.
Welcome to another edition of Show Us Your Basement. I am your host, Alberto, still in the back rooms, joined by Josh and Eric. And Edgar has taken a bit of a sabbatical. He's no longer on the podcast for tonight's episode. So we are joined by another guest that Josh has so graciously bestowed upon us on this podcast. This is Caden. Caden, you've been a listener of the podcast, I take it. Have you heard of Show Us Your Basement? Okay.
Yeah, I've been following you guys for a while now.
Tell us and tell the
we kind of forced them to, but yeah.
Yeah.
What is your background with pop culture, with movies, the stuff that we talk about here on this podcast?
Yeah, I mean, I just say, since I was very young, I've been very interested in movies. And when I was 6 years old, I remember my dad let me stay up late and we watched Blade and The Matrix. And from then on, I've been a movie fan. So, I definitely love superhero movies. You guys are into those as well. I'm not a comic book guy, but I've definitely been able to relate and disagree with a lot of you guys' points.
Are you ready to get into some little mini debates here on tonight's episode of Show Us Your Basement?
Can't wait.
All right. Josh, you are a huge fan of Blue Chew, and we have been sponsoring or talking about Blue Chew here on this podcast. Please tell the audience why they should be going on to bluechew.com/showusyourbasement for 10% off.
They're still not sponsoring us anymore.
Wait, what?
Tried, but apparently I couldn't get hard enough. So,
Josh, come on, man. That was like your one job for this last week, and you failed.
I took like 3 at a time, and yeah,
Right.
I think basically I was too Asian, and 1 inch is not enough to get hard. So,
Okay, well,
can we move on, please?
this is a messy situation. We'll find a sponsor eventually for Show Us Your Basement. But another plug for this podcast is we do another podcast called Poor Man Sports. You can listen to some of the episodes we have on the backlog at Poor Man Sports at the YouTube channel. Eric, any timetable, and we will be returning with new episodes for Poor Man Sports?
I think with timetable, it comes down to the time part, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've been lackluster. We are heavily invested in football, so some of that is delaying anything that we do with Poor Man. So we'll get back to it. Just a matter of time. I've been watching the World Cup. I love soccer, played it, but I'm kind of alone in that. So I'm certainly not going to try to speak to something that's difficult, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll maybe say some tidbits here and there, but it's been a great World Cup, though. And by the way, Caden, we're happy to have you here. We've been talking a lot about you. We appreciate you supporting the channel with the 50 followers, and you've been a good one. And so we're looking forward to having you. We know Caden pretty well, Josh and I do. And it's kind of funny how Josh and I know Caden.
Oh yeah,
so
speak to that.
Very just to give you a little quick background, Albert.
Mm-hmm.
Caden just happened to be bouncing between switching. He was moving between companies, and he went from Josh's company to my company that I was working for at one point in time. Oh. And we didn't know, this was not something that was known. It was just happenstance. Mm-hmm. So it kind of was meant to be, I think. It really was. And those kind of things are cool. I love those stories of how to meet people. It's just a weird twist of whatever down the road, and so it's cool that we've been able to get to know him better, and now he's going to join us, and he has a lot to say, and I'm looking forward to it. So
This
It
is
was kind of funny.
yeah.
It was kind of funny because I remember talking to Caden. I was like, "Hey man, I really want you to stay here. You know, I enjoy you. You know, you're good for the company." And then he was like, "I was like, well, I said something along the lines of like, you know, where are you going? What can we do to keep you here?" And you're like, "Blue Cross." You know, and I was like, "I can't do that. We have Kaiser." And then Eric texts me like 2 weeks later, and he's like, "Caden?" Question mark. I was like confused by the text, so I had to call him.
Yeah.
Small world. It's funny.
Small world indeed. Well, number one, let me say I'm flattered to be here. Truly, you guys know your stuff about movies. So I really enjoy watching you guys, and so it's good to be here. But yeah, small world. I consider Eric and Josh to be great friends and very knowledgeable in movies. I love arguing with them about their opinions. So it's good to be here.
I mean, what an
Let's go,
episode
baby.
to debut your appearance on, because there's going to be a lot of hopefully controversial takes with this episode. Josh, you pioneered this idea for this topic. We're going to be doing well. Break it down for us. What's going to be for tonight's episode? What is it going to be about?
Yeah, so we're going to do a little bit of a round table, round robin is what we'll call it, of talking about X amount of movies, whether we think they are either basement or greatness. And you know, we're going to talk about why we think it's basement or greatness, and then we're going to hear from everyone else on why we're wrong or why we're right. So yeah, little breakdown summary of that. So who's going first?
I mean, Josh, I feel like you have to kick it off. I think you have a pretty good list.
I have an amazing list. First off, good list is an extreme understatement. Yeah, I'll kick us off because I've been itching to talk about this one
Yeah.
for a while. We've kind of hinted it a little bit. Black Panther.
Oh man, I knew you were gonna. I knew you were going with this one. I knew you were going
You
with this
say
one.
it is a movie that changes culture.
It did. It did.
It's greatness. Yeah, but changes culture. It doesn't mean it's a great movie. Let's get over yourself. This movie is Basement. It is literally every MCU movie. Like what before Black Panther, there was literally like what 15 movies that had already came out. Every movie was about a superhero that gets humbled in some way, that has to rebound, and then the villain is a copycat of the superhero.
Okay.
You know, other than changing the culture, you know,
You gloss
which
you
was
gloss
great.
over that like it's not a big deal. That's a big deal.
It doesn't make it a great movie.
It does.
You know, and then you have Michael B. Jordan, who's like, you know, I mirrored myself after Heath Ledger's Joker. There was nothing about his acting that was near what Heath Ledger was doing. It was just Michael B. Jordan wearing glasses in the beginning of the film. He loses the glasses, and then he just takes over the throne. And then to lose it with terrible CGI, wearing the same ass suit as the Black Panther, just wears gold around his neck. To then lose, and I don't even think he was a villain in that movie. Let's just be honest.
Is your 90 seconds up?
He felt like he was doing something that was right, that was justified. So really, was he a villain? Was it Wakanda, the Wakandans that were actually villains because they were hiding their knowledge to the world? I don't know. What was the point? So that is my brief summary of it. I'd like to hear your guys' input, and then I will let's go back and forth on this. What are you guys' thoughts? Obviously, Alberto is greatness on Black Panther.
Yeah, I am.
Eric, what is your thoughts on Black Panther?
Yeah, I think Black Panther is a very underrated Marvel movie. I actually have this one as greatness.
Good.
I think that it was well casted. Um, you're gonna have to help me. I forgot his name. The gentleman who played Black Panther. His name is fleeting because unfortunately he passed away.
Chadwick Boseman,
Chadwick Boseman.
great actor. I don't want to disregard that.
I think this was. I think Marvel. I want to say they reached pretty deep to bring this character to the forefront as an important role and an important character in the universe, and I think that they delivered it very well. I also think that it was a very inclusive decision because it brought forth a superhero that was not white, right? And I think that's actually important to the cultural side of things because you now can open the door and reach a broader audience. And I think it was executed very well. Now,
Oh,
I don't.
so because it reaches a broader audience, it makes it a better movie.
I think in this case, yes. I think that this was just captured a lot of people's attention and interest, and I think it was done well. I'm saying this is included in
You
why I
say it
thought.
also was executed well when they rehashed the same story over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, you have a point there, except I think that there's a lot of rehashing in these movies. It's kind of hard to avoid.
That's why most of the Marvel movies are basement.
Right, but it's kind of the basic ingredient to get people's attention and into the movie. I think it can get old, but I think
Sounds like
this one
lazy
did it.
writing.
Okay, you may call it lazy writing. Certainly, it could be. I don't see Michael B. Jordan's performance as anything near Heath Ledger. I didn't realize that was he said that.
Did he
I
really?
don't
Did he
agree
say
with
that?
that.
Yes,
According to
yes.
Josh, he did. Um,
I'll Google that shit right now. But keep talking.
Oh, but
I still
okay.
think that Michael B. Jordan played a good role. I think you're selling him short. I think he's a better actor than some people give him credit for. And I think there was a lot of emotion, and he had a chip on his shoulder, being a part of the Wakanda. I don't know what you'd call it, their people, their nation, whatever, right? And then trying to kind of come back in and reclaim the throne that he felt like was his. I thought it was a great story arc. It was not original necessarily, but you could get behind Chadwick Boseman's character and really support him in his quest to defend the kingdom. So,
Michael B. Jordan drew heavy inspiration from Heath Ledger's Joker, The Dark Knight, when preparing for this role.
Was that said by Michael B. Jordan?
Yes, and there's also an interview from it.
Okay, not that
Caden, I'm
movie.
interested in what you have to say.
Yeah, that movie is trash. That is basement. Um, and I have to admit,
Okay,
I was
okay.
excited to see the Black Panther, the lead, superhero is black. I was very excited. I saw that movie with my whole family. And the number one thing that bothered me about that movie is the CGI wasn't finished. They openly admitted that they didn't finish it. And then number two, I think Michael B. Jordan is one of the worst actors in the entire planet. That is the worst
Wow.
performance I've ever seen as a villain. He had some of the worst dialogue I've ever heard. I mean, he was terrible. Every time he was on the screen, it took me out of the movie. It was terrible. And nobody wants to openly say it because they don't want to hate on the mostly black cast, Marvel movie. But if we just take the fact that it's a black cast and it's a black superhero, then that means what was it? Shang-Chi?
Yeah.
That's a great movie too, right? You can't just put a not white person in it. Now it's good. It wasn't good. It was corny. It was half baked. They knew that they just needed to get through that movie so they could get to the rest of the Avengers stuff. I did not like it at all.
Wow.
At
Man.
all.
I look. I heard about Josh's opinion about Black Panther a long time ago when we were working in JCPenney together, and you told me that you didn't like it then, and I was shocked about that statement then as I am now, Josh. But I got to be honest with you, I still disagree. Not only do I feel, look, you talk about how this is like a rehashed story that we've seen before. I would argue if it's not broke, don't like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right? Like there's no need to kind of improve on that type of story. I think it does it well. I think there's really good character arcs here in this film. The soundtrack is fantastic. The cinematography is great. They transport you into this world of Wakanda. I mean, it flies by. The pacing is that good. I think it's like a runtime of like 2 hours, and it doesn't feel like that at all. Yes, I will admit that the villain isn't as compelling, especially after we get to see Thanos on screen shortly thereafter. I think in the same year we got Infinity War. I think that kind of overshadows Michael B. Jordan's villain, but I still don't like. I don't know. Just because it's like a rehash story doesn't necessarily make it a basement movie. I still think it's done really well, and Chadwick Boseman carries that film. It's such a great performance, as Black Panther.
I would agree that just because it's a rehash story, a lot of good stories are rehashed. So I don't think that in itself is enough to make it a basement movie. I think it's everything together, right? It's a rehash story. The villain is trash. Michael B. Jordan is terrible. I mean, he's the worst part of that whole movie.
Oh
Like,
man,
and
oh,
I also just don't think it's a well written villain. And then he's bad at acting. So you put it all together,
yeah.
and it's like
I'm surprised that you don't like
garbage.
Michael B. Jordan as I thought he was. I thought he was fantastic. I think he's a great actor.
It's
The Wire,
horrible. And
he's great in The Wire.
he has this. I have to admit I never saw The Wire. I watched
Okay.
like one episode of The Wire, and I couldn't get into it.
Mhm.
I respect it for what it did, for television, but I was just like, I couldn't get into it. But he has this line where he's gonna like jump back into the ocean like our ancestors used to. It's delivered so bad. It's so corny.
Mhm.
He's awful in my opinion.
Oof. Just for as an aside, did you like the sequel of Black Panther? Or did you also think it wasn't
I
good?
I actually liked the sequel a lot.
All right,
And
so.
so I forgot that I saw it, and Josh told me to watch it.
Mhm.
And as I'm watching it, I'm like, I feel like I've seen this before, but I didn't really remember it.
Mhm.
And then Michael B. Jordan popped up on screen, and I remembered. I turned it off as soon as he popped on the screen. That's how much I
Wow.
cannot stand him.
Wow.
Yeah, he's in that scene. He was terrible. He's such a bad actor. He's
He's in
awful.
the sequel, right? I forgot about that.
Yeah, he has a scene in the sequel, and it all came back to me immediately. I was like, oh, I remember. I didn't finish the movie.
So here's what I love about Wakanda Forever, because I think it's greatness too. You have a lesser actor playing the sister. Like, what has she done
I don't know.
besides Black Panther? Really, nothing before this, and she carried this movie.
Okay. Yeah. I
I thought
agree.
she was
I
phenomenal
agree.
for
Yeah, she was
being
good.
a being a no-name actress. We'll just call her a B-list side character, right? She was extremely believable. You felt her pain, and on top of it, Namor, right, is what he was pronounced in that. He was actually a much more believable villain in that movie than Killmonger was in Black Panther. And on top of it, you had a very original storyline that kind of like went a totally different direction because it was just so new and so fresh. So like to kind of what Caden was speaking to earlier, right? It's a combination of obviously um, recycled storylines, bad acting, terrible dialogue in Black Panther, and you get none of that actually in Wakanda Forever. I think the dialogue is on another level. And I felt like Ryan Coogler was actually able or allowed to direct that movie where he was kind of handcuffed in Black Panther.
Mm.
Because I can tell you, besides the whole culture thing, what about that movie really is great? Because that's all I hear when people do talk about Black Panther is how it elevated culture. When we talk about Crazy Rich Asians, same thing. It brought the Asians. All the Asians can see it. It's an Asian film. But I grew up on Asian cinema. I can tell you that was no different than any. It was just an Asian movie with that type of storyline where a poor person falls in love with a rich individual and then gets kind of like shut down by the parents.
Right.
That's a typical Asian story, but because it was a culture effect, it was elevated. Really, like to me, it's been done before. So besides the whole culture thing in Black Panther, what really is great about it?
That's it. Just the culture piece.
I mean, look, we can sit here discussing Black Panther. We do have more to go, so I'll give you that.
Basement stamped.
We'll stamp it as basement. I'm willing to concede with that, but Josh, moving on. Eric, you've been keeping your list close to the chest. What is a greatness or basement take that you have?
I'm going to try to find the right word here. Films that have 5 or 6, are we calling that like a saga?
Yeah, I'd say like a saga series, whatever.
I think the Alien saga is Basement.
Oh.
I think we're talking about the first 2 films being in the pantheon of greatness, followed by a degrade of quality that just goes down and down and down, and it continues to go down. And it started with Alien 3. And Alien 3, as we know, was misrepresented in its marketing. Then it was followed up by a absolute, I don't even know where to go with Alien Resurrection. It was something that felt forced. We're going to pull this out of thin air. We just need to create an Alien movie. And I think they thought they were being creative by going forward 200 years and they're going to clone Ellen Ripley. And it was just such a bizarre movie. And just when you think maybe it's going to come back with Prometheus, which is also controversial in many people's opinions, including my own in terms of how it ended, then following it up with Alien Covenant, where we get very lost in the timeline of it not making any sense. Okay?
Right.
So you then have Prometheus, Covenant. It's kind of a duet that you think is going to bridge this gap that you're waiting for to get to the very original film, to put it all together, to come full circle, to where we have this painted picture. Do we know, like, okay, they found this ship in the very first film and there was no information about why. It was just so mysterious. We never got that. And as we continue, Alien Romulus is certainly a step up. It gives you hope, like, yes, okay, we're kind of getting back on track. Then here comes Alien Earth. What a disaster. Now, does it have time to salvage the franchise? Salvage something? Sure. He's got another season coming, but I'm not hopeful. The Disney DNA is spoiling it. It is spoiling it. All this Peter Pan referencing mixed in with Alien, and they've kind of made it clear that they don't want to be on the same timeline. What? What are we talking about? You're just making this... You're taking a legendary saga and turning it into nothing. What do we have to look forward to with Alien Earth? I don't know.
Wow.
So it's just disappointing, and this is something that I love. And again, it's a guilty pleasure, these movies. I can watch them, I enjoy them, but they're not good, you know? So I think that the Alien franchise is in a weird state. And it's disappointing when you look at the first 2 films and how great they were. And we talked about it the other night. Neil Blomkamp had the rug pulled out from under him to try to put his stamp and create a whole new timeline that would have been, I think, great. It would have been greatness. He could have salvaged it. He has the mind for that kind of thing. He has the way he creates his movies with his practical and special effects, I think, are very underrated. I really like Neil Blomkamp. I'm a big fan. He does not have a large body of work, but I I unfortunately I think that it's a basement saga right now.
That's shocking from you.
What do you think, kid?
I'm actually battling in my head. I'm trying to decide because I think Romulus, Prometheus, Alien, and Aliens are good enough to make it greatness. At the same time, the fourth one, what is it, Resurrected or
Resurrection
Resurrection?
might as
That
well
is
be resurrected.
one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Um, Eric, thank you. You made me finish it. I turned it off. You're like, you got to finish it. It was horrible. So I haven't seen Alien Earth. I haven't seen that. So I'm inclined to agree with you, but I'm like torn. I don't know. I mean, Aliens alone is just so damn good.
Wow, I mean, I'm also surprised, Eric. I mean, but I mean, it's. I'm not a huge Alien fan. I haven't seen all of the Alien films. I think Caden listed all the movies I've seen, which is, Alien, Aliens, Covenant. Would you say Covenant, right? Covenant in Romulus?
You got to put Prometheus in there.
Prometheus.
Prometheus,
I've seen
not
Prometheus
Covenant.
as well. But I also don't. I don't know. I kind of have to disagree. I mean, look, can we, in this series of movies, can we also include Alien Isolation, the video game?
No,
No. Damn.
no.
I was gonna say.
I mean, if you
Isolation's a great game.
if you feel like that way in your heart, go
Canon.
ahead.
It's canon.
It's canon, but it's not. We're not talking about a movie here.
Okay. Okay. Well. Yeah, man, dude. I mean, look, Eric. I'm probably gonna shock you with this, but I don't even know if I would say the first Alien movie is greatness. I think having had some time to think it over, I think I'd probably put that in basement. And so I probably would agree that the Alien franchise is basement because the only one that I really like is Aliens. The rest I've either don't care for or haven't seen. So I agree with you, Eric, but hopefully I'm not taking a slight by saying that Alien is basement. You know?
The only one you liked was Aliens?
Yeah, I think so. That one kept me
Wow.
engaged. I like Alien. I don't know if I think it's greatness though. I know it's a slow burn, and I know, for its time, what it managed to do for sci-fi horror, but Aliens is just it elevated the series. I think it made it what it is. I think it really is more iconic than the first movie. But that's just
It
me,
is. I mean,
you know.
it also changed video games, right?
Exactly.
Forever.
Exactly. Like, if I'm not mistaken, I think originally Doom was supposed to be an Aliens game. Like, and then I don't know if they lost licensing rights or something like that, but they ended up making their own thing and it turned out to be Doom. Had it not been for Aliens, I don't think we would have had that iconic first person shooter. So that's really the only thing I can salvage from that series is Aliens. So Eric, I agree. I think the Alien franchise is basement. I don't know if anything at this point can salvage it. A second season of Alien Earth, I don't think is going to be enough. Where do you go with this franchise? It's the same thing with like my guilty pleasure, which is the Saw franchise. It's kind of just up in the air. I think it's been given back to Blumhouse, is given back to James Wan. But what really is there to do with the Saw franchise, right? The same way with the Aliens, the Alien franchise. So, Josh, what do you? I know you don't. Do you agree?
Well, first off, I'm trying to like figure out whether Eric and I are still friends. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Um, Starting with that. Second, the fact that they keep bringing these movies out and continuing the series shows that the series is fucking great. It's greatness.
Thank you for saying that for the Saw franchise, right? We just want to clear it up. That's what you mean.
So as it's going nowhere, it is trash. Let's just be honest. You just take a shot of like liquor right now.
No, that's no. It's Gatorade.
Oh, I thought it was like a bottle of like
No.
Hennessy or something like that. Crazy. Um, you appreciate the Saw series. You say that they're greatness overall.
But I also can see why it's basement.
Eric should also see why the Alien franchise is also greatness. Um, every series is going to have a flop, mess, terrible movie. Fortunately, anytime you hand it off to a different director, it's going to be messy. Okay, I agree with you. I would have loved to see Neil Blomkamp's interpretation of the Alien sequel. Looking at like the art and what he drew and the kind of like the little summary story of it really sounded fascinating. But unfortunately, that time has passed, and we did get something out of it, and his name was Fede Alvarez
Hold
in
on,
Alien
Josh,
Romulus.
wouldn't the sequel to Alien have been Alien Isolation?
The video game?
Yeah, I mean it's canon. It is the sequel to
It
the
is.
first one.
It's canon. It's actually based on Ripley's daughter.
There's your sequel,
Ripley
Eric.
is in it too. But we also got another sequel, technically from Alien, and it was Alien Romulus, which did not a perfect movie, but still greatness. It delivered well. It was excellent. And I can't even believe I'm saying this because I hate Prometheus. I think Prometheus is a dog shit movie. I think it's lazy. I think it's written poorly. It's dumb. Whatever you want to fucking call it. But the fact that they still keep, dude, Alien Earth is not that bad. It's not that bad of a series. It's the first season. There's still hope. It's not like it was bad, you know. And it was a unique storyline as well. It's a greatness of a series, and it's going to continue to be greatness. Terminator, I can argue and I can say that's basement because they don't even know what to do anymore. It's dead in the waters. Alien is not dead in the waters. They're still making Aliens.
All right,
That's a good point.
hold on. Where I get lost and frustrated with the Alien saga
It should have been at Prometheus, but it's
it
Alien
is.
Earth.
Hold on. Where I get lost isn't necessarily with Alien 3 or Alien Resurrection. It's not really those two. It was the transition from Prometheus to Covenant that really spoiled it for me. And I think even the way Prometheus ended. Because when you go back to the first Alien film, they find the ship. They bring that ship back, and I believe the ship is called the Juggernaut, whatever. It's the same. You see that ship in the first film, and it just captures your imagination. You're like, whoa, what is that? Then you see it in Prometheus, and it feels like it's lining up to be, this is it. This is where it's going to crash. This is where it's going to end. We're going to have a little bit of an answer to where we saw this ship kind of start, right? You start to get that, and then it doesn't end that way. Ridley Scott decides he's going to go a step further, thinks he's being smart. He creates Alien Covenant, and the story effectively ends. It dies. It kind of just tails off into this weird side quest. Now, Alien Romulus was I loved Alien Romulus. It's a greatness, right? But it's sort of a side quest. It's not really a anchoring storyline to the larger story arc. It's kind of a side quest that I find to be very necessary, and I hope that they do some more. Alien Earth has a synthetic robot named Wendy whistling to these xenomorphs. Whistling to them. And we've been told that they don't want this storyline to really be involved in other Alien films. Why? What's the point? Why make it? Where's the origin? We're just picking up right in the middle of nowhere, and we're just going to continue, right? So your dislike for Prometheus, I find valid. It's kind of where I'm at. It was the most pivotal point in a massive story arc that was botched. Completely botched. And that hurts me as a fan. Because I want to know more. I want to see, like, where do we get to this point in the very first one? And maybe it's just not meant to be. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. And Alien Earth's not going to deliver that. I'm not saying it should, but it's not.
I feel like you are still a fan of the franchise and you still
Of course.
consider it greatness. You just unfortunately got your feelings hurt from Alien Earth.
No, my feelings were hurt from the transition from Prometheus to Covenant. That's where my feelings got hurt. My hope for Alien Earth was we were going to open a different door and create a different story arc timeline that was somewhere along the line going to intertwine with the original storyline, and it just isn't going. It doesn't look like it's going to.
Every series has a subpar okay first season. I think it's fair to say that.
Well, I did say that it has another season and it could salvage. I didn't necessarily say
Exactly. So we can't really say that the series is over. There could be more to it. There's also a lot of denial, right? They're not going to admit to a lot of things. Maybe they still will connect it to the movies in a lot of ways. Maybe David will show up. I don't know. There's a lot of opportunity to it. But to say that it's basement just because of Alien Earth due to one season, which I don't think was bad.
Yeah, I'm not really hinging it on
pretty mature decision to make, in my opinion.
Not really. Alien Earth isn't really where this started for me.
It also has like one of the greatest sequels of all time, which is Aliens.
Of course, I know this. I specified this.
If you say the top 5 greatest sequels of all time, you're going to always have Aliens in it, and by far, if you have Aliens in your top 5 greatest sequels of all time, it is literally one of the greatest franchises of all time.
Yeah, I'm feeling like Aliens alone elevates it. Romulus was really good. Unfortunately, I don't remember Covenant. I see I rated it very poorly. So I take your word for it. It's probably pretty bad. But I think the fact that it's still going, it's still kicking, people are still interested in it, I think that says enough that it is still greatness.
Throw one more thing. I mean, there's a lot of things that are still going. Halloween is still going. It's not great. It's just not, So there's a lot of Marvel still going. There's a lot of things that are still going. There's a lot of things. And remember, I am a harder critic on the Alien franchise, probably more than the rest of you guys are. I mean, I have the VHS tape tattooed on my leg. It tells you everything you need to know about how I feel about it. So I'm going to be a bit more harsh and hold it to a bit more of a higher standard because I want to know the story more. That's something I remember being a child, young, always scratching at the back of my head, and it just wasn't scratched, and I thought Prometheus would do that. And though I do love a lot of the other elements of Prometheus, which we don't need to get into, I was disappointed with the transition. That duet was messy, and I brought this up the other night. They actually delivered the bestest version of the Xenomorph in Covenant, in my opinion, and it was just the wrong movie, unfortunately. So,
wow. All right. I mean, that is a pretty controversial take, Eric. But moving on, because again, all these movies we can really sit here and have a whole episode about. But Caden, you're our guest here tonight, and I'm curious to see what is on your list. What is a greatness or basement take that you have?
Yeah, I've been wanting to get this out to the world. Sinners is basement.
Oh, okay.
It is a
everyone say goodbye to
movie.
Caden. I'm gonna go ahead and kick him out here.
It's a terrible movie. It has an identity issue. You can't just put a music video in the middle of a movie and now it's great.
Oh, it's a beautiful sequence. Beautiful sequence.
So what? I can't put a music video in the middle of F1 and now it wins the Oscar. Like and
okay.
They lied. They marketed it as a horror vampire movie. There's vampires for like 15 minutes. I don't even remember anything about them. They're not significant other than they're white and all the other characters are not. Um, it's not good. I mean, if you chop that movie up and make it a trilogy, right?
Right.
And the first movie is a historical drama and you like it. So you go to the second movie. The second movie is a fucking music video. You're like, the fuck is this? And then the third movie, vampires come out. You'd be like, what the fuck is this? What is this series? This is awful. Like I don't know what I watched, but you put it in one movie and now it's greatness. I did not enjoy it. It's paced very poorly. I just shat all over Michael B. Jordan. That is his best performance. There are moments where I
Even though
forget that.
there's two Michael B. Jordans, by the way.
Right.
I thought that would make you hate Michael B. Jordan even more.
Yeah, me too, right? But he does a good job. There's moments where I forget that he's one person playing two people, but then you give him a moment to actually have like actual good acting scenes, and he's bad. Like it immediately takes me out of the movie. And everybody just thinks it's a good movie because there's a music video in the middle, and I just think that's bullshit. It's not good.
This is another Ryan Coogler film with Sinners.
Yes.
Caden, do you have a bias against Ryan Coogler? Do you not like his movies, or are you a fan?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I like the Black Panther sequel.
Did you
I
like
enjoyed that
Creed
very much.
and the I think Creed and what was the other movie? The first movie he made?
Fruitville Station.
Yeah, yeah.
I still haven't seen that. Now, Creed, I loved,
Mm-hmm.
and then I went and watched the Rocky series, and then I realized that the Creed movies are just Rocky 3 over and over again. I wouldn't say those are basement movies, but I was a little less impressed.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I don't have anything against Ryan Coogler, and I think there's great directors that have a lot of trash movies. We just talked about Ridley Scott, right?
Yeah.
But that movie is not good. I mean, they first of all, they advertised it as a horror movie. It's not a horror movie. It's not even a vampire movie.
Wow. John, okay, before I get into my opinion, I mean, Josh, what did you think about Sinners? We haven't really talked about it too much on the podcast, I don't think.
Yeah, we haven't. I think we briefly talked about it. I think it's greatness.
Is it because of the music video?
I think there's.
Be honest.
I love that
Be
scene.
honest.
I'm not even gonna lie. I don't think it's great solely because of that scene. I think it's acted well. I think the pacing is great. I think you have buy-in with the characters. You feel for the characters. You appreciate where the brothers came from and then what they're actually trying to accomplish when they go home. And then you have their cousin, who he kind of has an identity issue. Okay, he's obviously grows up in a church home, but he also loves music to the point where he's able to or wanting to step out into the secular side of things.
Right.
And obviously his father is telling him, that's the way to sin and don't do it. And then what happens when he does? It branches off into a world of sin. That was the whole to the point where there are vampires. But Caden, you said it perfectly. This is. I never thought anything special of Michael B. Jordan until I actually saw him in this role, and it just elevated. It just shows that he has the potential to be such a great actor, and he's evolved really well. Because you said earlier, you don't even realize that it's like the same person, same actor.
Yeah, I have
It
to
is
admit that.
literally two people. And yeah, and that is the fact that he was able to do that is really hard. Okay. There is so much going on in that movie. My only maybe somewhat agree is that it was advertised as a horror movie. But it wasn't enough to take me out of the movie because I took it as a movie, a historical movie, like a historical piece with horror elements in it. and I was okay with that. I was totally okay with that, you know, and the whole identity of the movie was really that music played a big part of history.
Yeah.
So what is it though? Is it a historical drama? Is it a music history? Is it the movie
It's a
doesn't know what it
historical
is?
drama with horror elements in it. Absolutely.
And here's the thing, I wouldn't have even gone to see the movie if it was advertised as a historical drama because I'm so sick of the black people in the field and I'm so sick of that. I don't want to see it anymore. I wouldn't have even gone to see it. So I'm sitting there, I got my popcorn, I'm like, oh yeah, we're an hour into the movie and we're still driving around town and collecting characters. I'm like, when is it going to start? And then boom, there's a music video.
Yeah.
I mean, it's are there great elements? Hell yeah. Do I think Ryan Coogler has a lot of potential and is he a great director? Sure. But that movie is just a whole bunch of stuff going on.
So I'm going to ask you a question real quick. And this was
Sure.
a conversation you and I had behind the scenes a while back. And you said that the movie that won Best Picture,
One
what
battle
was it?
after another.
One Battle After Another, should have not won Best Picture. You said Sinners should have won Best Picture. How can you say
Sinners
that
should have won over that. Yeah.
How
Yeah.
could you say that Sinners is Basement, but should have won Best Picture?
Oh.
So to a
I think
degree, you do identify it as a great movie.
it has great elements to it. There's things that are executed beautifully. Like the music video scene is done well. Why is it in
Thank
the
you.
middle of this movie?
Eh,
Why is it in the middle of the movie?
Why not?
Right?
Honestly.
So if I put
It's
that music video in,
established that music is a big part of history, and it touches all
cool,
cultures: Asians, Black people,
It is also the thing that that's the
Irish
thing
people that were in it.
that's the thing that attracts the vampires to them. Unfortunately, the thing that they come together to celebrate is also the thing that's going to eventually get them all killed, which I think was kind of poetic.
here's the problem though. So one battle after another was just a really bad movie. Like there's nothing to pull out of it to be like, wow, this was done other than Leonardo DiCaprio's acting alone. That's not enough, right? Uh Sinners at least had things that were done well. So like if you're gonna give me the two movies, I'm gonna pick the lesser of the two evils, and it's Sinners. Because one battle after another was just that bad.
I haven't seen it.
I did not enjoy that at all.
Fair.
But it still doesn't make Sinners greatness just because it was better than one battle after another.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Here's to hear, Eric.
Yeah, Eric, what did you think of Sinners?
I'd like to point out that it's interesting having this conversation and some of the things that have been said about this movie being cultural, a history movie, the cultural impact. And yet, I made a very similar comment about Black Panther.
Yes.
And I also heard about Black Panther that it was just a regurgitated story. When Sinners has plenty of regurgitated stories.
Yes.
Just go as far as From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yep.
It's nothing
Come on.
like From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yep.
It is nothing like From Dusk Till Dawn.
Hold on.
But keep going, please.
It's very similar. There's some very similar elements. You could see it in the DNA.
Josh,
You could
although
see-
Eric, before you continue, Josh, also Ryan Coogler did say he took inspiration for Sinners from The Thing. Would you say that's a regurgitation of The Thing, and now that's like, oh, now
You're
it's
supposed to be
doing
on
the
my
same
side,
story, or
We're supposed to be talking about how
no?
great
I want to go
Sinners
back to
is.
Black Panther. I'm just
but-
trying to, with Black Panther, you saying
First off, I was talking about the culture of the history and oh god,
Whatever.
No.
c-
You
continue.
guys aren't even
You
listening.
can continue.
You guys aren't even listening to me.
So
Go ahead, Eric. Go ahead.
fine. It's fine. I'm just pointing things out. That's all. I don't see anything historical about this film. Last time I checked, or last thing, I guess maybe not checked, but as far as my knowledge can grasp, I don't remember anything about vampires being in human history. Number one, I, I don't know about that.
Historical fiction.
I'm with Kate in this, with on this one in terms of this was marketed as a horror movie, and it did feel like an identity crisis. Multiple things going on. It did take a while to build up, but in the end, you had, I guess, history. I don't know. According to Josh, there was history in this, and there was cultural. I think that the singing
Music,
and the
music.
whatever, right? The music part of it was interesting. This is where I kind of feel like, okay, Ryan Coogler has a mind for something, but why is it being blended, kind of crammed into this movie when we're kind of trying to balance a life or death survival kind of last stand against vampires, which is fine if you want to have that. From Dusk Till Dawn had it too, and I think that it's great. Like there were some action moments that were great, but in the end, it was so like it was a little all over the place. I think that the musical side of it, though it presented itself with such great impact in a way, it felt just very random as it was inserted into this movie. And to Caden's point, it did seem kind of like, okay, we've got a bunch of vampires that are all white. And then there's an ending scene where he's wiping out the Ku Klux Klan, which is fine, I guess. Take them out. But it just seemed kind of like, oh, one last thing here. Hold on.
Yeah.
We just got through this heroic showdown with vampires, and now I'm going to obliterate these human men, which, fine. I guess if you want to top it off that way. I think the villain in this, I don't remember his name. He was the kind of the white guy. I guess we'll call him the white guy. I think he had a lot more potential to be infused in this. He did present himself well, and I would have liked to have seen him be a little bit more, focused as this kind of ultimate villain. He had the presence. It was there. I think it just wasn't quite wielded well enough. And so this was a deceptive movie in terms of what you were getting yourself into. I did find myself having a difficult time getting through the whole movie because I was kind of expecting one thing and we got another because it was marketed a certain way. I said before about Black Panther that I think that Michael B. Jordan is much better than he's been given credit for. And that's debatable. But this movie, I think, certainly proved that he's capable of being very great. And I think some of these guys, as they progress in their acting ability, they become very good. Some of them do. I think you can look at a guy like Michael B. Jordan, who might be portrayed a little bit as like a pretty boy kind of in his early days. That's very similar to Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert Pattinson, and Ryan Gosling. Some of these guys that kind of were in these kind of like pretty boy movies, and now they've really elevated to different levels. So yeah, this is Basement for me. Misdirection. I don't know. I think saying that it's cultural is no different than what I said about Black Panther. Sure, there's nothing historical about this to me either. So
I think this might be one of the worst takes on the podcast. This I can't in good conscience just let this take slide. I think this is a fucking fantastic movie. This is Ryan Coogler's best work. The cinematography alone is just amazing. The score felt very personal to him and personal to what he was trying to, I guess, show with how music can kind of bring, a people together. And I don't know, I just like, I don't see it being like this identity of different genres mashed together. I just see it as a story of two cousins coming back home to try to salvage what they can from like what they have with the rest of their loved ones, with their relationships, with the people who they abandoned. and how that kind of comes to bite them in the ass towards the end. You know?
Yeah, and the scene with the white supremacists at the end, that was actually like hinted in the beginning of the movie.
Yes, yes.
You know, so it wasn't like it was actually like
It wasn't a random like.
yeah, it wasn't a
sequence.
random act or anything that came out of nowhere. They do find out early in the film that you know the place that they bought, they're known for doing that so that they can wipe um, black people out. You know, a group of them. You know, so yeah, this movie has a lot of great things going on.
And the elements.
I
of,
agree.
the element of the vampires being in there has been kind of sewed in since the beginning too. With I almost had the name. Who's the musician, the cousin? I forget his name, but like him coming back home after all these events happening, and it's like, yeah, like you can tell there's a mystique behind it, and it's kind of been slowly unraveled to you as the movie progresses.
There's a lot of great films out there too, that pretty much talk about like music is the gateway of selling your soul to the devil and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's how I took this movie too. Is it was just another interpretation of you know um, going away from the flock and selling your soul to the devil. But no devil. There was it was obviously the um, vampires. But then it was also a unique take of bringing people together, his own people, through music.
Yeah.
You know,
I
so
I don't disagree with any of that. The problem is I wouldn't have gone to see it because that's not my type of movie. I did not like anything about that. And Eric talked about the villain. The villain, he was great. The main like white vampire guy.
Mm.
He barely does anything because the vampire part is barely part of the movie. So he acted his ass off to barely be on screen.
So you guys were just expecting a vampire movie.
Yes. Why I went to go see it. If you would have told me it was going to be a historical drama
Yeah.
about the KKK and music, and I would have been like, "Oh, that's not for me. I'm not going to go see it."
All right. That's fair. Um, I don't know. I don't think
but
this was
still
based on
greatness, right, Caden?
Absolutely not. Two thumbs down. 2 out of 10.
Music
2 out
is
of 10.
For the
Two
two
out of
Michael
10
B.
things are
Jordans,
bad.
that's why. That's why.
Yeah, that's the only 2 stars is Michael B. Jordan 1 and Michael B. Jordan 2. And he still needs to do another role before I'll give him credit. Because I feel like I think we talked about this, Josh, once. I feel like Ryan Coogler just directed him well. I think that's why he did good for once.
I don't actually disagree with that at all. He definitely does elevate people. I will say though, his fault on a different subject. I will say Ryan Coogler is probably burning out the whole Michael B. Jordan thing because every movie he has is Michael B. Jordan. So it's like, come
I
on,
mean, at the
let's
same time,
Josh, would you then consider
uh,
Quentin Tarantino to be basement director because he uses Samuel Jackson
I
in
was
every
just gonna
movie?
say that. I was just gonna say
First off,
that.
Samuel L. Jackson is not the main character in all of his movies.
But he
He's a side
definitely
character.
has a presence in every movie he's in.
Does he's very enjoyable, but
There you go.
let's give someone else a shot. Is all I'm saying.
All right. Well,
I'm not saying Ryan Coogler was basement, by the way, because of it.
Okay. All right. Thank you for the clarification, Josh. Let's see. My take.
Quentin Tarantino is basement.
No, that is not. That is not one of my takes.
That is crazy.
I was so one of my takes on here was that I think Robert Rodriguez is a greatness director. I think Josh made a good point that we probably all agree to that. So instead, I'm going to sidestep a little bit and pick a film from his filmography and say that it's greatness. Not only do I think it's greatness, I think it's probably the greatest of the franchise that he directed. And that's Predators. I think Predators is greatness. But moreover than that, I think it is the best Predator film in the franchise. That's my take. I think it's fantastic. It is probably the best interpretation of the Predators. The fact that we just get like 9 mercenaries just dropped onto an alien world, and they have to survive being hunted by different kinds of predators is such a unique concept. And wait, hold on, Josh, that wasn't directed by Robert, right?
He produced it.
Sorry, thank you for the clarification. Didn't produce it. I mean, didn't direct it. But regardless, I think Predators is greatness, and I think it's better than the original movie, even. No objections. That's great. I think we can move on. That's
I have to be honest. I don't remember Predators.
What?
I rated it a 6 out of 10, which to me it sounds low. 6 out of 10 to me means it's a good movie.
Okay.
But I don't remember it. I have to be honest.
That's unfortunate. You need to go watch it again after this podcast. I think.
Have you seen the original Predator movie, Caden?
I've definitely seen that. But I have to be honest. I think I saw it like when it came out, like when I was a kid.
I want to hear from Eric first. Predators is better than the OG Predator.
And it's the best in the franchise.
This take conflicts with my next thought. Is the problem with this? So I don't know if I do want to say anything just yet.
Really?
I'll say something. I think you're an idiot. The 1980s was like
all right.
One of the best decades for action. Arnold Schwarzenegger was at all-time high. Predator was so unique. The fact that they had to pivot halfway through the movie, change the Predator, change the design, and then give us what they gave with an all-star cast of Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, was so fucking good. So fucking good.
Yes.
There is no other Predator movie that is close to this.
Let me just remind you, I'm not denying that the Predator isn't.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger did like 20 similar movies to this, by the way.
I thought you were going to say he did like 20 push-ups or something. But look, Predators, I just think it captures the essence of the universe of Predator much more than what the Predator was allowed to do with the constraints of its budget, the lore that it explored. I think Predators finally gave it its due diligence, the same way that I think Aliens did with the first movie. I think Aliens really expanded upon the universe and gave us the colonial marines. It gave us those machismo like soldiers and stuff like that. And I think, I'm not saying that Predators gave us that. I know Predator did, but I think Predators did that for the Predators franchise the same way that Aliens did for the Alien franchise.
Predator was the only Predator movie that gave us an actual Predator movie. If that makes sense. You know, like you're talking about like a mercenary team that's trying to get a woman to the chopper, okay, and they're being hunted by this predator throughout the movie, and they're being picked off one by one, and keep in mind they literally don't even show you the predator until halfway through the movie, okay. And then it's also the ending of the movie gives you one of the best like fights, you know, between Arnold Schwarzenegger and this predator, you know, when he slowly figures out like what he's up against, what he needs to do in order to beat it, and when he beats it, he gets lucky. We can say that as well, you know. After that, every Predator movie, I would say even Predator 2, as garbage as that basement as that movie was, that was more of a Predator movie than Predators and Badlands as well.
I just think that Predators it gave us more of the lore of this creature and the race as well, the different types of predators, different types of creatures that exist on this planet. I liked the back and forth between the different characters and how they're like talking about different tactics and what they're trying to deal with. Like, oh, if it was this, it would be hunting us this way, and actually no, if like you know those kinds of little moments, those little quiet moments as they're exploring this uncharted, this unexplored planet. I just thought was so well done and so unique. And then when they bring in Lawrence Finchburg, am I saying it right? His last name?
Yeah, why was he in that movie?
Yeah. He's also so good in that role, even though it's such a minimal part. The fact that he plays it so well, being this crazy survivor that's been on this planet for so long, and you're so like intrigued by how he managed to survive, and then he's also having like this like delusions, like he's talking to someone, and I don't know, just every element of it just was so well done, and it speaks to the writer in me, like just how much they managed to give you those little nuggets of lore, and I think it pays good homage to the original as well. It pays respects to it as well.
All I will say is Predators was great. I enjoyed it. But in comparison of the original, it's Basement.
Mm.
And that's my 2 cents.
Wow. I feel like I'm alone in this one, but that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even remember the movies, and I'm so biased to Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think he's like the greatest action hero of all times.
All right, that's
So
fair. That is fair.
I think I'm gonna agree.
Oh, man, I wish I had heard more from Eric, but that kind of makes me want to kind of go back to you, Eric. What's your take? What is your next take?
Well, my take would have been interesting one that you had there, Albert. Um, I'm
But we
almost
didn't hear from Eric. Do you agree with Alberta?
well.
Let's let him cook here.
One of the things I was going to say is I felt that the Predator franchise was greatness. And a lot of the reason I feel that way is because there is this level of consistency that they have.
Mm-hmm.
And their level of consistency has been, which I think it's going to break here pretty soon, but their consistency to this point has been they've always had a unique independent story with each telling. And I appreciate that because it has kept the timeline intact. They haven't really strayed away from it. They haven't done anything to contradict it or to question what's going on. I don't agree that Predators is greater than Predator. I mean, Josh spoke to it. I kind of stepped out of this one because I wanted to hear what everybody had to say. But Predator was it was almost to me like a horror movie. It felt like a totally new take on the stalker horror feel genre.
Right.
It was the first time you saw what. It's funny because the 80s did this, okay? The 80s did this like crazy, but during the time of the 80s, you saw it in Predator where we were so heavily focused on the human body, the muscular physique, the badass, like, dude, biceps the size of your head. Arnold Schwarzenegger embodied that. And it wasn't just him, it was Carl Weathers. He was the same way. So this was like male testosterone at its highest, and yet it didn't matter. So it was really a very intriguing moment to where that meant nothing. It meant nothing in this movie because they were slowly getting kicked off, slowly overpowered. And you didn't actually see the Predator until the very end. He finally revealed himself. And not only did he finally reveal himself, you didn't really see the reveal until he took his mask off and went a step further, right? And so it was the the pinnacle of survival in an action movie. The survival of an actor in Arnold Schwarzenegger who typically is doing things without breaking a sweat. And this is maybe one of the few movies we've seen where he was really up against the odds, right? So I think it really broke the mold of the what's the word I'm looking for? The masculine,
Oh, like machismo type of.
right? The masculine look that is actually being overpowered, right? It didn't matter how you looked; you were just going to get picked off one by one, and it was very terrifying. It had a lot of gore. This was in the pantheon of greatness with science fiction. Predators was very good, but this is what I mean by why I think they are they're consistent. Is it was a new story arc, like it is mostly in every movie. They're very similar. It's just a predator hunting. But Predators did a very good job of opening up a different version of the tale and displaying some inner fighting between the species and then kind of having to team up with the human species, right? And so I thought that was interesting, and I thought that was very good. But like all these franchises, there's a couple bombs in there. The Predator was just fucking terrible. I don't know what happened there, but it was not good. Predator 2 was, unfortunately, I believe it was impacted by James Cameron whispering to Arnold Schwarzenegger to not participate in that sequel because I believe he was supposed to be in the sequel. But because he was whispering in his ear saying, hey, I need you over here for Terminator 2. And so I think it really changed the trajectory of the franchise. It forced them to kind of have to create a whole new identity. Because I do think that he was going to be in that sequel, and it likely would have probably been bad, I think, based on what ended up happening with the second film, because it was the same writers and directors, same two guys. I think they were brothers, maybe. And so you saw the impact of the politics behind the scenes, but I think it actually set them up well as they progressed, because then we got a really good movie in Prey. And I think Prey is going to be the first one that breaks the mold, because I think there's supposed to be a follow-up directly to that one that will tie in differently. But I think Predators was, or not Predators, Predator Badlands was kind of on the fringes a little bit. But what I did love about it is it kind of opened up about their homeworld and their culture and their society and how they are functioning. And you can see kind of the very primordial behaviors that they have despite being so advanced, which is interesting, right? They kind of had like a very indigenous feel of being simple, right? Smaller communities. I thought that was very interesting that they did that. So I think that the Predator franchise has been a bit more stable in comparison to the Alien franchise, because it's not as volatile with the storytelling. And so I think that consistency has been very good. And I think that we need it to stay that way to help the Alien franchise, because they go together. So that's where I was going to go with the Predator franchise. I don't agree that Predators is greater than Predator. Albert, I don't know what you're watching, what you're seeing. Mm-hmm. I like your take, but it's if you had just made the movie Predators, nobody would have cared. Nobody would have known or cared. It would have died right there. Right then and there, it would have been dead if you just had that movie. Right? So that was what I was going to say. That was where my take.
But I agree with that take too as well. I think the Predator franchise is much more consistent than the Alien franchise. I also do think it's overall greatness. I mean, Badlands is... I've said it on the podcast last year. It was my movie of the year. I really liked it. I enjoyed the hell out of it. So I have to agree with that take as well. I think that's Predator franchise's greatness. Josh, do you also agree?
Not movie of the year, but yeah, it's greatness.
No, I meant the franchise, obviously not. I know.
Franchise is greatness. Badlands was not movie of the year.
What was movie of the year for you last year? I'm just curious.
Not Badlands. I'm going to tell you that.
Yeah, what was it?
Sinners.
Sinners.
For Sinners.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Obviously, I was the only one that really liked Sinners.
I also like Sinners.
I think the world loved Sinners, if I'm going to be honest. But
The world
I just
did.
didn't
The
see it.
world did love it.
The
Yeah.
world
Like
did.
it loved weapons.
See, now that was close to movie of the year. I think F1 was movie of the year, but that's just me.
Josh, what is your next take?
Juggling between
Give us your best one, because I don't know if we're going to be able to do 5 as we originally intended to do, but
no, absolutely not. Good call, Eric. Sure. Um, we've chat on this movie a lot, and I don't think I've really made my opinion too much on this. But I'm just going to flat out and say that James Cameron's Avatar is greatness.
like the first one?
Yes, the first one.
Have you
It's
seen
on a
the
different
other one?
level, guys.
Can I
And
just interject, Josh, real quick?
go ahead.
Have you seen the sequels?
I have not seen the third one. I've seen the second one. Yes.
So clearly you don't care enough about it to see the third one right away.
I'm only here to talk about the first one, Alberto.
All right.
I gotta say,
Okay.
that's a good point.
Yeah. I'm not here to talk about the trilogy. I'm not here to talk about the franchise.
All right.
I rewatched Avatar. After we've talked about it on this bad podcast, and yeah, I do agree, and I will say that the story is a rehash. You can say it is Dancing with Wolves. It's Ferngully.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting.
But
A rehashing of a
but-
story, which
but-
would immediately make it Basement, I feel like.
but it is executed so well. The casting is so great. Okay.
Name 5
Sam-
good actors in that movie.
say again.
Name 5 actors who are still working right now in that movie. That was in that movie.
Sigourney Weaver.
Sam Worthington was the main character.
Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver was in that movie.
That's 2.
I'm terrible with names.
Giovanni Ribisi. in that movie.
Zoe, the chick
so-
from Guardians of the Galaxy was in it.
Yeah, she's in it.
Okay, the little brother from Gone in 60 Seconds was in this movie.
They're all
The guy who
good,
really
but
wanted to play Kilo was in this movie.
You don't really see. You hear them. They're good voice actors in these movies.
The story, the plot, the execution, the transition, the dialogue was really well, and then the fact that the special effects was on a different level. First off, like Eric, you have mentioned multiple times that it's too CGI, right? It's to the point where it's not believable. I would argue, and I would say that the CGI is so near perfect that it is believable.
So much so it took 10 years or so to perfect it.
Hey, when it was executed 10 years later, it was almost flawless. Avatar, James Cameron, and that's why James Cameron is one of the greatest of all times.
So the CGI carried it, is what you're saying.
Sounds like to me that's what it is.
That's
CGI
what
is
I think
great.
it was.
I don't even think the story was that bad.
Whenever
I don't
someone
think the story
says
was
the
bad, but it
story,
wasn't good.
whenever someone says it's not that bad, it's not looking too good. It's not looking too good.
It was a great storyline.
Now
The
it's
only
great.
difference is, okay, if you want to talk about the Marvel movies, what Marvel movies were like were like popping out like babies, every year. Okay, that's exhausting. Okay, Dancing with Wolves came out in the early '90s. So did Ferngully. It took 20 years for this movie to come out later. So I wasn't burned out by that storyline. Okay, I'm getting all sensitive right now, guys.
You are over blue people. They're not real.
The movie is greatness. The movie is greatness from the actors who played the characters to the CGI and its perfection. The fact that the CGI was so great, they actually had to start using that moving forward in other cinemas as well. Avatar, James Cameron's Avatar, greatness.
What a waste of a take, man.
Not a waste of a take. It is a
is.
great movie.
All you've said.
I mean,
Go ahead. Go ahead, King.
I think your take is probably the common take amongst people. You just like ask random people on the street, is Avatar a great movie? I think a lot of people would say yeah. I saw this movie in 2009 and the week it premiered, and I never saw it again. It was bland with blue people.
Yes.
You know,
Well, first off, I
it
didn't
did
ask
nothing
people. I
special.
actually Google AI'd it. So
You asked AI, yeah. And on that note, I mean, so you could just take a common trope, right? Let's be honest, it's a common story, and that doesn't make something bad. You could just give it to AI, and it could just print out a new version of Avatar with red people, and now it's a great movie,
Yep.
right? So I don't think you can stand on the I think people are standing on the CGI alone. It was amazing to see at the time, and I don't think that's enough to make the movie great.
Eric?
Well, I'm happy to see that people are finally starting to recognize the pattern when we talk about Black Panther, Sinners, and now we're on to Avatar, which, if anybody here has seen Fern Gully, which was released in 1994, it's an animated movie. Avatar is an exact replica of this. Now, I'll move on. Josh isn't wrong when he talks about the level of CGI that was displayed in this. It was incredible. It's probably it might be the best CGI I've ever seen. Probably ever. So it deserves its credit for that because it was designed that way. But I also love movies that are built in the real world where it makes sense. It's demonstratable. I don't know if the CGI can convince me that mountains can float. I guess so. But that doesn't feel like a tangible thing to me. And I do think that it opened the door to heavy CGI that was going to be now woven into everything we see. And so, though James Cameron did it perfectly in that regard, I think it has impacted in many other ways that are so heavily reliant on CGI when I'm finding myself loving these simple movies like The Backrooms, Obsession, that feel like this is just tangible. It feels like there's nothing impeding my eyeballs as I'm watching it. I just had a very difficult time connecting with the indigenous alien species. I had a very hard time connecting with it. There was something that just looked off about them. It didn't feel like if humanity is going to encounter an alien race, this is not how they're going to look. I couldn't wrap my mind around it. Now, this was loaded with actors, very good actors, and I actually think the acting was quite good. It was just so too much CGI. And again, the trope, it's hard to avoid. Look, it's so hard to avoid. Should we drag it down to the bottom because of that solely? I don't think so. But man, if you watch Fern Gully, you might change your mind. Because we're talking about the same thing, cutting down the trees. There's this indigenous species happening here, and it's a corporation. Just greed. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. I mean, it really does embody what humanity is and what they've always been, which is we're going to the more intelligent species is going to dominate the less intelligent version of the species. We see this in the animal kingdom to this day. So it certainly displayed it accurately from that perspective.
So I don't understand because
what you just described was the Lorax also, Eric.
You're shitting on sci-fi as a whole. Okay, if you're going to tell me like, oh, I can't believe that if we were to meet an alien race and they were to look like that, I just couldn't believe it. Well, what about the fucking whatever they were called in Prometheus?
That's more believable than blue people.
Like that's not what our creators look like. Oh, I can't take Predator serious because there's no such thing as an alien predator hunting fucking masculine men, with biceps the size of Josh Scott.
Josh, why are you defending these blue people so much, man? You haven't even seen the fucking third
Let me
movie.
tell you what's so great about Avatar. Okay, Sam Worthington's character in the first 5 minutes of the movie, like you know his entire story within 5 minutes. Okay, he is a man that was not able to actually go into war because he was handicapped. Okay, he lost his legs, and then he found out that his twin brother, your best friend, the one that you know personally on a different level, is killed in war. Okay,
Okay.
and then he's given a second chance in life to actually continue what his brother was doing, and he actually is able to get his legs back.
Oh, wow. He gets his legs back.
What kind of happens? Doesn't that? It's sort of what happens a little bit in Fern Gully.
Yeah,
What's
because the
this
main
movie called
character,
again? What?
the,
What?
the Fern
Sorry.
Gully, yeah, no, it was a woodcutter, okay, who actually gets shrunk by accident by a fairy, and he lives with the fairies, and then he finds out the importance of the forest, okay.
The only difference is he didn't lose his legs, right, Josh?
Yeah. That has nothing to do with Ferngully, the legs thing, by the way.
It's more of the handicap, the disadvantage, and to your point, he's now seeing the perspective from the other side. So that's where I'm kind of at, and that's what I remember immediately noticing when I was watching it in the theaters. And it's weird to think that Caden said he saw this one at an opening night, he never saw it again. I think that might be the same case for me. I know I went and saw it in the theaters, and I don't know if I've watched it since because it's very long. It's a long movie, and I think long movies I have a hard time with. And
Well,
so,
I'm gonna tell you guys, I was on the same boat as you guys. I haven't seen it for a very long time. I was curious. I watched it again. It's actually a great movie.
Hold on.
It
How
is.
long is Avatar?
I think it's close to 3 hours. It's very long.
And Josh, I gave you the
Yeah.
assignment. I gave you the assignment to watch Bo's Afraid, and you chose fucking Avatar.
So, I was afraid is 3 hours exact. Avatar is 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm gonna
Okay,
choose
so not quite three, but
Yeah.
very long.
movie. But you're also gonna tell me like the villains in Scott Lang's character was not peak.
Oh, it was peak.
Dude, he was so great that put him on the map. And he was you can put his character on the same level as like Ledger's Joker. He just wanted these people to burn and die. He was just thirsty for blood and mass murdering these people. And he was like a soldier representing the people of America per se, you know. Um, yeah, he great villain on top of it.
This
So
movie just felt molested by special effects.
yeah,
Gone with
basically you're
Michael Bay.
saying James Cameron took a movie and redid it better. Is that what you're basically saying?
He took him, whatever you want to call it.
Interesting.
We're calling it as it, like what it is, Josh. I mean, this is just
Double
Uh,
standard.
I'm not going to compare this with my statement that I made with Black Panther, unfortunately. I'm talking about a universe that uses the same story over and over. That is one thing, right? We all know that movies in general, they're going to use other elements from other movies. That's just the nature of it, right? A garbage ass movie can have a peak scene, that one peak scene. Um, you're going to see it in 5 other movies, unfortunately, right? That scene doesn't make it a great movie, right? Okay,
I think I'm gonna
is
give.
the Hateful Eight great because they copied the thing? It doesn't devalue Hateful Eight because they copied the thing. Quentin Tarantino drew elements, and the blueprint to the Hateful Eight
it's more
was the
interesting
thing.
though. It's more
No,
interesting than Avatar.
I agree with that. I think that your take currently is contradicting another take that you have that will go into mine. So I
Well,
don't
just
disagree.
go.
Yeah. So mine is the Batman is greatness. 2022, the
Great.
Batman.
Agree.
Um, is it The Dark Knight redone perfectly? Yes, it is. But it's good. And it's also just a setup movie, right? It's very apparent that it's a setup movie. They're just trying to put all the characters in place, trying to introduce you to the world. They're trying to take you out of the Dark Knight. Um, and it's done very, very well. There's nothing wrong with it. On my first watch, I only liked it because it was Batman, and I love Batman. I will admit that. But with each watch, it gets better. The pacing feels better,
Mm-hmm.
and it's without the corniness that I have felt in every superhero movie I've ever seen. Honestly, it's not corny. And the honestly, the bat suit alone puts it in greatness for me, at least.
Finally, someone I can, because Josh here always talks about Batfleck over here and how he loves Ben Affleck's Batman. Look,
I do.
the suit
So
for
do I.
Ben Affleck
I'm
was
with
great.
Josh.
No, the suit's fantastic, but in terms of like the movie, the Batman, all the elements tied together, it is the perfect Batman movie. It is the perfect
Yeah.
Batman movie. The best version of Gotham City that doesn't look like fucking Chicago. Okay, it doesn't look like a
Okay. Well.
mosh posh of different
All right.
cities or whatever. It feels like a real Gotham City. Okay.
I did like Gotham as Chicago, but I'm biased. I'm from Chicago.
Okay.
But um, I thought, especially because we get the Penguin too, and I know
Mm-hmm.
that's a separate thing, but I just feel like they've set the stage really, really well. Now they've got big shoes to fill because the first one came out in 2022, and they're talking about the sequel coming out in 2027. That is a huge gap.
Yeah.
And I'm nervous because, and Josh actually brought this to my attention because they copied The Dark Knight. I am nervous. It's like there's no source material for the second one, but as
Ooh,
it stands right now, like let's say
think about that.
the Batman 2 never comes out and it's just the Batman forever. Um,
Oh, that's a
no
good
pun
title.
intended there. The Batman. It's a great movie on its own. It's damn near perfect.
I mean, I'd have to agree. I love this movie. Um, I think Robert Pattinson is fantastic as both Batman and Bruce Wayne. The little
He's
nuances he
really
brings to his
good at this
character.
point.
What was that, Josh?
It's nothing. Keep talking. Go ahead.
Go back with your blue people, Josh. Okay. Um, I love
I
those
would
little.
rather go back to my blue people.
You want to abandon your family and go to fucking Narnia land with the blue people,
I'll take
Josh?
them with me. I'll take them with me.
All right. I love the little moments, like the inexperience that Bruce Wayne has. There's a particular moment when he's talking to Alfred when he's on the hospital bed, and he's telling Alfred that like he thought that he had gotten over his fear, that he thought he had gotten over it, and that he had mastered it, which shows just how inexperienced he is. The fact that he admits that like no, I'm still afraid. I still have things I need to learn. And that was like the hardest thing he had to admit while he was almost going to lose his only like father figure, with Alfred. Like I just thought that was such a great moment. As well as him finally being able to I feel like the moment when he like drops down and fights all those like Riddler like copycats, phenomenal. Like that was like him being like Batman at 100%. Like that was him finally transformed into fucking Batman. I thought that was great. So it is a setup movie to Caden's point. But I really love the him saying that he's like vengeance from the beginning, and then him finally being like, you know what? No, I can finally be a symbol of hope. I just love that. That was so great. Now I don't know what they're gonna do with the second one, but
Right. I'm nervous.
I trust that it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be good. I think we're gonna be in good hands. Eric, you're shaking your head. Are you? Do you disagree?
For starters, Albert, I'm 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 with Josh on this I liked Ben Affleck, and I actually think that Batman vs Superman had the best bat suit.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing.
I mean,
He
that
also
was
had
a
the best Batman interpretation. That's
I
something.
it was yeah.
disagree.
We don't need to go. I know it's not what we're talking about, but that was the Dark Knight Returns to its core, and my goodness, there's something they did right that was part of it. I don't think you guys need to be worried about the source material because I'm seeing whispers of what might be in this movie, and I'm very fascinated in terms of the follow up. And we don't need to really dive into the follow up, but I'm hearing whispers of the Court of Owls being a part of this, which would be very interesting. Seems like it would fit the profile of this particular adaptation. So if that's the case, I would be very interested in seeing this because that's going to open the door to Mr. Freeze potentially, but we'll see. We'll see. As far as the Batman, I spoke to this once. I think this is greatness as well. And when you compare it to The Dark Knight, there are a lot of things that they captured with the scene and the element around Gotham City that just felt more like this is Batman. This is like playing an Arkham game. This is like closer to what you might see in a comic book. Closer. Okay. I think Josh does bring up he's going to probably bring them up, but he will mention a few things that do make a little bit of sense. But as far as the villains are concerned, they are elevating villains that are not used as much, well known but not used as much, such as Penguin and the Riddler. They elevated them in this and gave us something different. So we didn't have to rely on the traditional villains like the Joker, particularly. I think a lot of people are begging or waiting to see that. And I'm just kind of here to think and say, I don't think we need to force that right now. Let's not, because that could be a very dangerous road to go down because it's hard when you have guys like Jack Nicholson. Look how long it took for that, right? And then you get Heath Ledger, and I'm not so sure you can replicate that. I don't think it's possible. So I think expectations need to just be lowered. But again, it felt like we had a better Batman. I think I did take Robert Pattinson, more seriously. I think he has really elevated himself as an actor. I think he presented himself very well. The vocals and the voice acting with transitioning between when he's Bruce Wayne to Batman didn't feel so odd and a little awkward and weird. Like, I think you got used to it with Christian Bale after a while, but you always knew it was kind of there. That kind of like, whatever the fuck's kind of going on. And I think this one, they did a much better job with the transition of addressing that and making it not so like awkward. Like, is this real? Like, are we really trying to force this? So, great bat suit. It felt like an Arkham game. And the character development was really good. We got a very good spin-off with Penguin because of it. That was great. And I thought that Colin Farrell was just sensational. You wouldn't have even known it was him if you closed your eyes, right? You wouldn't know unless they didn't say it was him. So really great acting. I think the weak point in the movie, though, was Alfred. And maybe that's more of a nod to Michael Caine. I think that's really what it comes down to. I think Michael Caine just portrayed that role so much better. It almost felt like you could have just plugged him in to this one too. He was so good. So I think that was a little bit of a letdown, but not terrible. And I think bringing in Selena Kyle, I think this adaptation of Selena Kyle was a better adaptation. She felt more like a cat burglar, more of a prominent character in this universe, and I just think it just presents itself so much better. And you've now opened doors that I think can be much more appealing to the Batman audience. I think we're going to start seeing, hopefully, some really good adaptations with some more villains here. And I do think that the Court of Owls may be involved in this. And if you've read it, which I have, thanks to Josh, thank you, appreciate that. This has potential to be very, very good, because if you read the Court of Owls, this just feels like it's tailor-made for it. So we'll see. But I agree. I think this is greatness. I think it is better than The Dark Knight. I think we're getting there. So now the sequel is going to have to land for it to work. If it doesn't, then we're back to square one. And it's not to say that there's anything against The Dark Knight. It's a great trilogy, but I think this is going in the right direction. I would like it to stay purely Batman, and let's just stay within the Batman universe. Let's not try to force feed Superman or something of that nature. I think we just need to stick to a Batman universe, and I think this is made for that.
I agree. Josh, you seem to disagree. It seems like.
Obviously. Obviously. Eric, this is a Batman universe only movie because unfortunately, if you put this into an actual comic accurate comic book movie, this Batman does not survive. It's so fucking grounded, and we've been getting a grounded Batman since 1989. Okay, if this movie, Caden, I'm also gonna shoot this at you. You know, you've been mentioning IMDb a lot during this podcast. Okay, This movie got a 7.8 on IMDb. Personal, it's high. I'm gonna give it its flowers.
On
Okay?
IMDb, it's high.
The Dark Knight got a 9.1.
Yeah, and I think to argue that, I think that The Dark Knight, I think I talked to Eric when I rewatched it and I dropped its rating. I think I had The Dark Knight as a 10. Um but it aged poorly. I think if you made everybody go to the theater and rewatch The Dark Knight, they would be like, "Oh, it wasn't as good as I remembered," because it's not that good. Like, and it took me rewatching it to realize I was like, this kind of sucks. There's like so much wrong with it. Um, where the Batman, every time I watch it, I like it more.
Interesting.
Here's my take on the Batman. Matt Reeves, the Batman. Matt Reeves cheated. He saw a great movie that was flawed. And he said, and he told himself, I think I can do better.
And he did.
It is literally a copycat of the original movie. And first off, I do want to clarify that I have acknowledged that the Batman is greatness. I just don't like it, unfortunately. I just don't like this movie, you know, and it is literally like 12 years ago, The Dark Knight came out. Okay. It takes literally Batman 2 is going to take 10 years to come out too. Okay. It was like almost a little over a decade and we got the same thing, the same grounded Batman style. And then on top of it, we got a stupid Batman as well.
What do you mean?
He's just inexperienced. He's young. It's the
Yeah.
first movie.
Yeah, let me tell you something that's so stupid about this movie, okay? Everybody wanted a detective Batman. Oh my God, we're getting our first detective Batman. What does he solve in this movie? Absolutely nothing.
Ooh.
Okay? We get the same relationship in The Dark Knight with Jim Gordon and Batman, which was great. Okay? Hey, we'll just do it again in the Batman. Okay? They put their heads together and they solve nothing. Who solves it? Caden?
Penguin.
The Penguin.
The Penguin.
The dumbest character in the movie. Okay? As great as he was pretty dumb.
Is
right?
he Josh? Or Josh? Let me just Batman v Superman. Batman about to kill Superman. Superman tells
We're
him,
not here to talk about
"Save
Batman v
Martha."
Superman. We're
Oh.
not here to talk about Batman v Superman.
What?
I'm here to talk
How
about
does how does veteran Bruce Wayne Batman?
Everybody wanted a detective Batman. We finally got it, and it was nothing special. And,
What are you
and
talking
here's
about?
the thing.
This is
Here's
year
the thing.
one Batman.
Here's the
year
thing.
two Batman.
Every Batman movie that there are detective elements in it.
Mm-hmm.
Hayden, I talked to you about this last week. Okay, every movie from '89's Batman, Batman Returns, Batman v Superman, the Dark Knight trilogy, there are legit detective moments. Okay, and everybody wanted a detective Batman because that's who Batman is. If you read the comic books, if you read the lores, you even watch the original animated series, Batman is known as a crime fighter and a vigilante 90% of the time.
He's named the world's
Okay?
greatest detective. That's his moniker.
Who calls him that? Who calls him that? There's only one character in the Batman lore that calls him the world's greatest detective and calls him detective every time he speaks to him. Who is that? Ra's al Ghul. He's the only one that acknowledges him as a detective. Everybody else, the police force, the other villains, Bane, the vigilante, crime fighter.
Okay, what does this have to do with
Okay?
with the Batman, Josh? I don't understand.
They gave us a detective element Batman movie, and it's just dumb. He doesn't solve anything
He's
in the movie.
inexperienced. What do you?
Okay?
It's
They
still
hyped it up so well, so much. We're getting our first detective Batman, and he solves nothing. It had to be actually thrown in his face. And then you guys keep talking about how this is also like the Arkham Asylum Batman. There's nothing Arkham Asylum. We got more Arkham Asylum in Batman v Superman than we actually did in the Batman in the warehouse scene when he takes them out one by
the
one.
only
With a
scene
group of
that really
Here's my
matters.
thing: is I've never read a comic book, any superhero comic book ever. I'm just watching the movie. Great movie. Like, take out all the other stuff. I mean, obviously, you guys can't do that, right? You've read all the comic books, but if you take everything out of it, no influence, the Batman is perfect. And granted, it had the Dark Knight to lay down the foundation, but thank God that he made
so
it, because
that,
the Dark Knight aged terribly.
that's another thing too, Caden. You take everything out of it, including Batman. It's not even a Batman movie. You're just getting a detective noir um, movie, and that's it.
Yeah, it's just a shitty detective without Batman, but thank God Batman's in it.
It's not even. You can also argue it's not even. You can also say that about the Dark Knight too. Obviously, I'm just here to talk about the Batman, but it's so grounded. These movies are just so grounded to the point. If you literally took Batman out of the picture, it's just a detective movie.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, but at the same time, like, I mean, the detective's not going to go, like, be a badass and fight all these people and,
We've
get
seen it
into
in film
clubs
before
with
where they go
Catwoman.
rogue and they do their own thing and they hand their badge over for a certain amount of time. It's the common like detective 90s, 80s cinema that we've gotten in the past. Just has comic book
Josh,
elements in it.
Josh, what I and this is just a general question.
Sure.
This is not even like I'm not even challenging.
Sure.
What do you want to see out of a Batman movie?
Yes.
Because I feel like and there's things you're saying like I look, I feel like both the Dark Knight and the Batman, they're not really meeting the criteria to its core.
Agree.
Whereas Batman vs Superman did, but somehow for some reason it failed, right? What do you want to see?
Some reason. There's a lot of
I
reasons.
want to see. I want a comic accurate Batman, right? Just like
What
what
does that
we've
mean?
gotten out of James Gunn's Superman, just Zack Snyder's DC universe. Shoot, we're getting comic accurate characters in the MCU, but everyone is so hesitant to do that because it's quote unquote cheesy. Bruce Timm's Batman the Animated Series, Caden, I don't know if you ever watched that.
Mm-hmm.
I have. Well, you know I have. But
Yeah, Eric, I know you have. Alberto, I know you have.
Mm-hmm.
Caden, I highly recommend it. It pretty much elevated the whole like Batman storyline. It was so good that actually they made changes in the comic book lore because of it. Um, they they put a lot of what you would call cheesy elements into that series, but they were still able to make it an extremely serious show, not just for kids. There was a reason why they were playing at night because a lot of adults at that time were actually watching that too. But instead, what we're getting out of the Dark Knight trilogy, even in the Batman, is they're so grounded. We have to have a like that. He wasn't the Riddler. He was the Zodiac killer. Is pretty much what he was. You know, give me a guy in a suit with a question mark on his tie and a cane and fucking doing cheesy ass riddles.
Then go fucking watch Batman Forever. Go watch Batman Returns. Those are your comic accurate Batmans.
They're not comic accurate.
Hold on. It
Zack Snyder's Batman was the closest that we've gotten. I want something similar to that.
okay.
Wasn't perfect.
But it's
okay?
so boring.
Hold on.
Those movies are so boring.
It
And the
feels
Batman
like,
wasn't boring.
No. Gotta open your eyes, Josh. You gotta.
no.
This was as open as they get. Unfortunately, that's the one terrible trait I got from my mother. But
I actually hold on. I think you're right. I actually agree with Josh. I actually think Zack Snyder was cooking, and then unfortunately he had the rug pulled out from under him. Whatever. It's disappointing. It does feel like everything because I've read enough. You've read more, but I have read enough of Batman comic books in my life to know that for some reason it seems like with this particular character that the grounded perspective just seems to rope people in more.
So
Caden is a perfect example of it.
But that's the problem, right? Is every director is quote unquote playing it safe, and they're just doing the same formula over and over simply because that character, the Batman, prints money.
Yeah, but to me, the other Batmans are not grounded. To me, they're all corny. Like, I've seen clips of the older Batman movies. I've never seen a superhero movie older than Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man because they all look corny and cheesy. And I'm like, that looks dumb. I don't want to see that. And as a non-comic book reader, Batman is badass because I feel like he might be down the street fighting people for
Yes.
real.
But that's what they're
exactly
doing
it.
in these movies because that is the safest thing to do. Because we are afraid, or these people in cinema are afraid to get out of their comfort zone, and they make it grounded for a reason. And unfortunately, it's too much of it, and I'm fucking sick of it.
That's fair.
That's
fair.
okay. Hey, that's okay. But I think
Fucking sick of it. Basement. The Batman is Basement. It's been done before since 1989.
That's crazy.
Okay. But it is so much better than 1989. We're not.
Sure.
I don't even think it's apples to apples at that point. But
Sure.
I think
you're eventually going to get better if you do the same thing over and over again, right?
I think it's a formula that is working.
Right.
Because we can't sit here and say that the Dark Knight trilogy was a failure. It was not a failure by any stretch. And I still think that it is a great trilogy. But it was very grounded, to your point.
Was.
And so is this. This is a much
The
more
Dark Knight was actually better than the Batman.
The Dark Knight was better than
I
the
think
Batman?
Heath Ledger. I think Heath Ledger was a big part of that. But
right. It's the only reason. Like, The Dark Knight was amazing when it came out. I mean, it's the same thing as, like, the Black Panther, like, what it meant at the time and what it did. But once you watch it back, it's not that good. All it has is Heath Ledger.
I knew Black Panther was garbage when I first watched it. I ruined Alberto's, like we met. He was my associate at J.C. Penney's, and I was just like, that movie was not that good. And he's like, oh.
Yeah, that
I'm putting in my 2 weeks. That's literally what happened.
Exactly. Gotta stop working for this guy. He has a bad taste in cinema. Fucking loves Avatar.
Like I identified it and I realized that The Dark Knight did not age well in certain things. I think the choreograph is terrible. Christopher Nolan does not know how to put together an action scene. You know, has one of the greatest opening scenes to a comic book movie. It has one of the it is a Joker movie, okay, which elevates it in a lot of ways, okay, and I think that actually it was meant to do that. Okay, it wasn't a Batman movie. It was legitimately a Joker movie. I think the performance was amazing. I think the pacing was great. I don't think. Yes, it had elements of cheesiness, but it also had scenes in it that were so elevated and so great that nothing can really live up to it. That interrogation scene is probably one of the greatest interrogation scenes of all time.
It
There's
probably is. It
nothing.
probably is.
There's nothing close to it, and they've tried to mimic it in some way, and they're just not even close to it.
But I mean, all that's great, but it's ruined by the fact that he's walking around in a Spirit Halloween Batman costume. It's corny. And that opening scene, I remember, Eric, I think I told you, I think we were working together at the time. I put on the Batman. I had nothing to do on like a weekend or something, and I was like, I'm gonna put on the Batman, and then I'm gonna follow up with the Dark Knight Rises.
I
I'm gonna
remember
finish it with
this.
a bang. Oh, it's gonna be so good. I couldn't even get through the Dark Knight Rises after the Batman. It was so corny. The opening scene's not that great, and all it has is Heath Ledger. Everything, it's very corny. It's a very, very corny movie.
Josh is edging closer to the perimeter of his phone box there.
Look,
Look, hold on. But I know we got to wrap this up.
yeah.
But I actually am in agreement with Josh that the DC community, Batman in particular, I feel was done a very harsh disservice to Zack Snyder because he was he was delivering what we wanted, and I thought he did it very well. And it's a damn shame that it didn't materialize into something more because some of what I said about the Batman being compared to Arkham, I'm speaking more towards like the fighting and the how that is choreographed more so.
He was a good fighter in that movie.
It was good. It was good. I thought it was good. Thought it was better than Nolan's, but yes, the Ben Affleck situation had the potential was there, and I think that they just rushed it and didn't create a solo film for him. I think that would have been a better move.
And Caden, you said it perfectly. Yeah, we said this behind the scenes too. I think the Batman sequel is taking so long because he doesn't know what to do.
You're gonna be eating
Yeah,
your
I mean,
words, though, Josh. I feel like you're gonna be eating your words.
I think they've met some challenges. I think I think there's been like 2 writing strikes. I mean, there's been a lot going
Sure,
on.
we'll see it in like 5 years, guys.
But yeah, I mean, the movie has to come out. I mean, if the Batman 2 bombs, it has the potential to ruin the Batman, and I'd have to retract everything that I say.
Yep.
But in this moment, as a standalone, it's greatness.
Look, I think we're running out of time here. We're gonna have to probably make this a 2-parter. Josh, my only mission for you, homework, is watch the 3rd fucking Avatar movie if you love it so much. And at the same time, also watch Bo is Afraid because that was also something I told you to do, and instead you just decided to watch Avatar instead.
I'm working up to it.
Get to it. This has been a very. There's a lot of controversial takes with this podcast, but we're gonna leave it at that. And you can see Edgar there in the background. I don't know why he just decided to make a cameo. So we're gonna just leave it there. Thank you guys for listening. Caden, thank you for joining us on this episode.
Thanks for having me, guys.
This might be the last time because you don't like sinners. So no.
Standing on it. Trash.
And hopefully, when we do this again, we'll have Edgar on the podcast because Josh, I know what one of your takes is on that list, and I know Edgar would be dying to debate you on it. So, yeah, thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe and share with your friends. Eric, go ahead and send us off.
Tomorrow, United States, Belgium, 6 o'clock. Go Birds.